Good evening and welcome back to Antiquitas Gaming. We are in Chapter 16, The Belly of the Beast, Part 4. To recap, we listened in on President Shinra meeting with the directors. Reeve gave a defense of rebuilding Sector 7, but as the rest of Shinra's board of directors, including President Shinra, are all terrible people, they downvoted him. They approved Hojo's plan to use psychological torture on Aerith to try to introduce her to the Promised Land. Cloud ran into a couple of his old buddies from when he was part of Shinra's army, and it caused him to have a headache, which caused the concern of his friends, including Tifa. And we learned that from Heidegger's mouth, we overheard him saying that the whole Shinra Wutai story is mostly cooked up by Shinra. Now we're in Hojo's lab, and we are going to try and rescue... We're going to try to get Hojo to... Force Hojo to release Tifa. And make sure we've got all the... I don't want to have Elemental on Barrett's weapon, because the boss that's coming up, I believe, resists some elements. So... Hojo's lab, you know, we got a metal hallway. We can see through windows that there's, like, operating rooms with, like, claws and needles and lasers. And, it's like a hospital, except it's like a hospital of horrors, right? They're not there to make you better. They're there to, dissect things and so on and so forth. We see all sorts of,
Yes. Why didn't I think of that earlier?
Tubes, and they've got weird green fluid in them.
Wait, you mustn't overthink it.
You hear Hojo's voice. He's talking to himself because he's crazy, right? That, like... Hojo is, like, 3 parts evil, maniacal, mad scientist who's miserable, and then, like, 1 part comic villain. And the comic villain stuff occasionally comes out and is funny, but most of the time we just know he's like an awful, irredeemable person who is at the root cause of a lot of the problems in this world. So we're about to go intercept him. So he's standing in a room, and we're going to walk in there.
Why didn't I think of that earlier?
He's standing in like a room with computers. He's about to head into one of the main doors of... This is the first level of his lab. His lab has multiple floors.
I ain't bluffing.
Barrett's got his gun right up against him.
What is this?
A dozen bullets in your head, unless you open that door right now.
Hojo walks forward, and he opens the door for us.
You must be the ones who've been stirring up trouble lately.
65th floor, Hojo's lab sub. Barrett nods at Hojo's question.
If so, I can't imagine what business you have with me. The president's upstairs. Go on, shoot.
See, he's just gonna, like, let us go.
Shut up.
Because he doesn't really care about President Shinra. Or Shinra at all, for that matter. He only cares about Shinra because they pay for him to have this research facility.
Do stop pushing. Unlike you, I am less accustomed to physical violence.
You'll get used to it.
What is it that you want?
Our friend. She's in your lab.
Really?
Tell us where Aerith is.
Oh, so she's your friend. Well. In that case, yes, that might do the trick.
Mind speaking up some?
It's nothing. Just imagining how she might react if I were to present to her your fresh corpses.
Then he presses a button, a bunch of monsters fall from the ceiling.
I promise, you will regret this.
And he types some stuff, and a door opens up on a console. He gets on an elevator. It's a wicked smile and goes up to the next level. And a giant monster comes on out. And again, that's Hojo going quickly pivoting from, you know, his occasional funny thing to being a miserable, awful, irredeemable villain that you love to hate and is the cause of a lot of pain in this world. So the monster's like got a crab claw and like this weird thing. It's called Specimen H0152. It's literally like a conglomeration. It's got like a weird like lobster head. It spawns these like weird crab-like things that have eyes on them. This is a boss from the original 7. Alright, so it says a monster created by Shinra's R&D division. Highly adaptable, it evolves during battle when it exhibits extraordinary offensive and restorative capabilities. Tactical data not available. It's immune to poison. It resists lightning. It's got 42,000 health. You can destroy the claw temporarily. This will pressure it. It hits really hard. This is, in my opinion, actually one of the hardest bosses in the game. The enemies he spawns actually have a fairly high amount of defense. And, and then he's just got a really high amount of health. So, and the fact that you can't poison it makes it, you know, it really increases the difficulty. So I crippled the left claw. So, and that pressures it.
Hang back. Try this.
And focus thrust and focus strike don't even do that much. Like, I just used 3 those attacks and it didn't fill up his gauge. So this is very much like an endurance fight. Because the boss has so much HP, so much defense. And it summons these annoying monsters that help it out that also have a high amount of defense. So it's down to, I've done about 10,000 damage to it. So now it's sucking in fluid from the pod that it was in, which is powering it up. This is phase 2. It emits more enemies, so now I have another wave of these things to fight. And, you know, it moves faster each time. And it's just like blitzing all around this room. And, you know, it's a metal room that's got a bunch of, you know, like specimen tanks. So I'm taking out some of that smaller enemies, trying to lower the amount of, you know, the amount of damage on the side that I'm being dealt with Tifa while, you know, the boss just rushes back and forth. Oh. The boss is at 30,000 health. Cloud unconscious, because if the boss grabs you, it's bad news.
Let's turn this around.
And one of the other issues is that each time the boss summons a new wave of these enemies, the enemies get stronger too. And he just summoned more. So it's like almost not even worth killing them sometimes. Alright. Oh. He's down at 19,000 health now, so he's almost down to... He's below half.
So long. It's on you.
Alright, and now this is where he fully charges up. He absorbs more stuff. And he's now like glowing green. And this is like a giant mutant monster. You got like a lobster head, a crab claw. It's like, and now he's spreading poison all around. Mako explosion. We'll cloud summon Ifrit. Just get a summon out here helping us do damage. And Ifrit, and the final attack will be AoE, so it'll knock out the enemies too. So and the thing, you know, and it moves faster and does more damage each time we get to a new phase of this fight.
No need to
So we've taken out all the enemies now, other than the boss. So we just need to survive the boss. It's down to about 10,000 health, so I think I've probably got this. Okay, now it's summoned more enemies to help it out.
We'll get through this.
Won't last long.
Ifrit did about 2,800 damage to the boss. Tifa's down, so I'll have to revive her.
Got some fight left in you.
Boss is down to about 4,800 health.
Hope you don't mind if I fit into the hole.
Cloud used triple slash on the...
Always did like
I'll take over. Ha! Yeah, there! Bring it down!
Braver, and we got it. And it starts staggering back, and it's full of Mako, and it just disintegrates into the air in a green fog, along with all the enemies around it.
Hey, Hojo's getting away.
So, yeah, we're on metal because we're in the Shinra building. We've got all these pods around us. The one that he was in now is broken, and there's like tubes falling out. walk around, we can see different pods. We see one that has like a red-looking canine with like a fire on the end of its tail. So we'll have an interesting experience with that in a moment. But we're gonna sit down as a bench here, and we're gonna go up the same elevator that Hojo did. Great door in front of the elevator opens up and we go up. And it just shows us a little bit of that. The red canine thing wakes up, it opens up, got one eye, green eye. And it's making like a feral sounding growl. We run out, we're on to the second level. There's like a big open area with some Shinra guards. We see Aerith inside a research.
Very impressive.
Who?
I really must thank you for providing me such invaluable combat data.
Hojo's in like a
Cocky little
room
egghead,
hanging
ain't
over the room we're in.
The results provided by my predictive models indicate that this force should be more than capable of handling you.
Y'all about to learn predictable.
We're taking Aerith back.
Oh, take her back, you say? Correct me if I am wrong, but did the girl not come here of her own free will? Or do you mean to tell me that she is your personal property?
She only came here to save Marlene.
I'm afraid you misunderstand. But I really can't be bothered to explain. This facility is home to extraordinary specimens that will change the world as we know it. Do try to be considerate.
So now we're facing a group of Shinra guards, 2 troopers, 2 grenadiers, 2 elite riot troopers. So there's specimen tanks surrounding us. They've got all sorts of weird stuff in them, except for Aerith, of course.
Got it back.
Need my help.
You'll be dead.
Okay, let's go.
That it?
There. Fly.
Fun's over.
Heads up.
I got this.
Take them out. Now we go back to Hojo, who's looking down at us
Looks
from
like
his
your
little like
models got it
platform
wrong.
that's surrounded by a glass
An unknown
windows.
foe, perhaps. Well, no matter. Reinforcements will soon arrive.
But will they get here in time to save you from me?
Hojo looks in closer.
Soldier.
Yeah.
No, not quite. Oh, now I recall. My memory was mistaken. My boy, you weren't.
So Hojo's saying something, but Cloud's brain is, he's having another hallucination, and then the ghosts show up out of nowhere, and they carry Hojo down the hallway behind his research console.
Barrett.
Got it. Stand back.
Blow open the door. It short circuits. Aerith comes out, but it also short circuits the door on the floor below where the
You came for
canine
me.
thing is.
You good? I'm great.
Thanks for saving Marlene. I owe you one.
Save it for later.
So now we're facing two armored shock troopers. They're red and silver-looking robots that have like lightsabers.
Bam.
And they're about to eject. So they blow up. And now we got enhanced shock troopers, which are like shock troopers, except they've got like skates almost.
Gotta love it.
I actually find these guys to be less difficult than the than regular shock troopers that run around, because they don't have nearly the same level of evasion. So he took them out.
Aerith, you okay? Thank you.
And now Aerith's back.
Let's get out of here.
Oh, and then our furry friend, who was in the specimen thing in the 65th floor, jumps up. He stares at us. He's got a tattoo. He's got, like, decorative cuffs on his arms. Jumps through the glass to where Hojo was.
The hell was that thing?
We need to go. Aerith!
What the?
Come on.
So, follow Aerith up the stairs into Hojo's little, like, over platform thing, his research area. Hojo's stumbling towards the elevator, the end of a fairly long hallway. Our furry friend goes after him, but the elevator closes before he can get there. He's also got, like, a little, like, collar around his neck that's got, like, some feathers and other decorative stuff hanging off of it. His hair, some of his hair is braided, and then he's got, like, a mohawk kind of thing on top of his head.
This child's a friend.
So, Aerith goes up to him. He's baring his fangs. And she uses some of her, like, ancient magic to cure the stuff that Hojo's done to him to make him all angry. He closes his eyes and his mouth, calming down. He opens his eyes. And, you know.
So what the hell is it?
He lifts his lips, and
A fascinating question.
he can talk.
Did it just talk?
You asked what it is. I am that which you see before you, nothing more. I'd appreciate it if we simply left it at that. Agreed?
Red 13's missing his right eye, and there's like a scar over where it used to be.
13?
Red 13. The designation given to me by Hojo.
Then you must have another name. What is it?
He just groans and looks away when Tifa asks him that, so clearly he doesn't want to share it.
So, we're gonna go get the son of a bitch.
So Cloud's suddenly walking forward in like an uncomfortable manner. He's having visions of what looks like some kind of a strange woman that's hooked into like a test tube, in a test tube hooked up to a bunch of cords. You got the like fuzzy electric-y kind of visual going on that Cloud has when he has his hallucinations. And it's playing, this theme is known as Those Chosen by the Planet. It's Sephiroth's theme song.
I have come for you.
You can hear someone talking about Mother.
Together we will reclaim our world.
That's Cloud's having some kind of flashback, and he's being compelled forward.
They have come again.
You can hear that. You can hear Sephiroth's voice. So, you know, some kind of hallucination / flashback process. Cloud's holding his head. He's stumbling forward. He's right in front of the elevator that Hojo used to go up to the next level. He's seeing this, like, feminine alien creature that's hooked into this device. You know, it's like a humanoid alien-looking thing. It's really disgusting. He mumbles Mother before he collapses.
Cloud!
Then here, go to get him. Now we've got the Turk's office in the basement, General Affairs auditing. So we got Song at the desk, Reno's beat up. He's on the couch. Rude is sitting at a table in the middle of the room.
You know, Reno, I think you might be due for some R&R.
Nah, I'm good.
What are we going to do about Sector 7?
We are going to do nothing.
Been thinking, was all that necessary?
Had we refused, someone else would have completed the task. We have spared that someone the burden of a guilty conscience. Perhaps that will ease yours.
Yeah, nope.
Let's try another tack then. They were a sacrifice to balance the scales.
Say what?
After everything we'd taken from the planet, we were due to give something back.
Do you actually believe that?
Does it matter? Yes, understood. The VP needs us.
Chapter 17, Deliverance from Chaos. Cloud's laying on a bed, waking up.
Cloud. Oh, thank goodness. You're awake.
You okay?
Yeah.
Got Red 13 in the room with us now. Barrett sitting
Where I
on a
lived
couch, Red's on the floor.
When I was still a child.
We're in Aerith's room from when she was prisoner of Hojo the first time with her mother. Etha's by the bed with Cloud, making sure he's okay. Aerith is standing by a big, bright painting that she painted on the wall of the room. So, I'm not going to talk to her just yet because that'll trigger off the next thing, and I'll start that at the beginning of the next video. I'm just going to comment on the last couple scenes. First, with the Turks scene. I really like how they've gone about humanizing some of the bad guys in this series that are not like Hojo and President Shinra, who are like the people that you see and you're like, these are clearly irredeemable people that have no good qualities, and they're there to be the main villains of this game or this series. You know, the Turks are bad people because they do bad things, but they're not like inhuman monsters. They're just, you know, they're the classic example of like, you know, okay people that are working for a bad organization that do bad things, and they have some redeemable qualities, but we still have to judge them because they're ultimately carrying out orders given to them by people that are far more evil than they are. And so they do bear, you know, a good chunk of culpability for helping some of those evil people achieve or attempt to achieve their aims, which are bad. But it's nice to see them, you know, say like, oh man, I feel really terrible about this, because it just shows that there is a human side to some of the villains in this game. And in the original game, the Turks were kind of comic relief villains after a point in the game. So, you know, they're not quite that in the remake trilogy, but at least seeing them be humanized villains is, you know, kind of a nice contrast to, like, again, people like Scarlet and Heidegger and Hojo and President Shinra, who, you know, are just like the classic, like, evil, wicked people that, you know, their instincts will always tell them to do the worst possible thing at all times, and they don't really care about, you know, anyone but themselves and their own power. And then the Red 13 scene, I think his comment when he says, I am that which I see before you, I almost feel like sometimes, you know, when you're someone who has a disability or, you know, you've got an injury or something, it's, you know, people sometimes will ask you all kind of hurtful, not always intentionally, questions, you know, and it's kind of almost like what Red says is like, I'm just who you see right here. And, you know, I had some surgeries and stuff when I was younger, and I had scars and things like that that caused me to have, you know, lots of uncomfortable conversations with people. And I wish I would have had the confidence to just tell people something like that. Like, hey, that doesn't, I'm not my scars. I'm not something. I'm just what you see before you, a person. And, you know, let's just leave it at that, you know, and I'll let you judge me by the content of my character and by the summation of my actions and words. and not by, you know, the fact that I look different from a lot of, you know, anyone you've ever seen because I happen to be dealing with a rare medical problem, or I had a surgery that typically people in my situation don't have because of their, you know, I'm dealing with a rare circumstance or whatnot. You know, so I really like what Red says there when he, you know, he enters the team. He'll become a playable character right at the start of Rebirth. I really like that. I like how he says, you know, hey, I'm just what you see before you. Don't judge me by, you know, the fact that I'm a talking animal and I'm not human, or, you know, that I have a scar over my eye and I'm only, you know, or whatever. Just judge me by what you see and what I do. And I think that as someone with a disability, you know, it's the kind of thing that, you know, if someone's not willing to do that, if you ask that of them, then they're not really worth being your friend anyway, because they're probably ableist, or they don't want to put in the effort to, you know, manage the parts that they're going to have to manage to get what they get the positives out of being friends with someone who, you know, has dealt with so many challenging situations. So, you know, but yeah, that's just another kind of simple but profound comment in this story. And I think that's another, you know, one of the reasons why Final Fantasy VII is such a beloved story is, you know, you've got a large diversity of characters, a very diverse world that reflects the world we're in. And the characters also say simple things that can be, you know, interpreted simply or profoundly, which is, you know, the mark of good dialogue, that it's not just at face value, but you can also apply it to real situations. You know, and there's lots of different angles to view this game. You know, the disability angle obviously has been more emphasized in this version of the story than the original story. But, you know, there's the environmentalist angle and the anti-corporate greed angle and all of the other lessons that go back to the original or are new to the remake or were originally introduced, you know, in between during the expanded universe stuff before this series came out. So yeah, that's just my little chat at the end of this episode. So that was chapter 16 in the Belly of the Beast. We've made our way all the way up to Hojo's lab. We've rescued Aerith, and you know, if you liked either the gameplay or my commentary or whatever or both, you know, please give it a like, give me comments. I want to know what you think of my videos. I know I haven't said that as much in the earlier videos, you know, give me a like, give me a comment. If you know somebody else who, you know, likes fantasy or sci-fi or whatever, you know, let them know about the channel, and you know, I'll be playing more games in addition to Final Fantasy VII stuff as well. So, you know, thank you for joining as always, and I hope you'll join me for the next part of the story in Chapter 17. We're almost to the end. Chapter 17 is quite long, so it will be more than, it will be probably at least 4 videos, if not 5 or 6, because there's several boss fights, and we're going to have to fight our way through the most of Hojo's laboratory, which we haven't even seen yet. So, thank you for joining, and have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and, you know, keep going. You know, there are a lot of good things out there in the world. I know it's not always easy when you're sick or in pain, but, you know, you are more than your disability. So, you know, I hope that if you're someone who's watching these videos now or in the future, that this is something that's brought some positivity and interest to your life, especially if you're not really able to go out and do as much as you would hope you'd be able to. So thank you so much, and have a good evening. And we will be back with Chapter 17.